The biggest mistake in creating a logo motion isn't bad animation, but rather making the animation too cluttered. Let me show you what I mean. A logo carries a message all on its own, and our job as animators isn't to compete with that message using weird effects, but rather to use animation to uncover and reveal it. Today, we're going to work on animating the word wave, and I'll show you how to create the most meaning with the fewest elements. To understand the project better, you can download the project file and follow along with me as we dive in to create this cool logo motion and turn our text into a waving hand. Well, I'm going to create this logo motion in 4 steps, with the 4th step being the most important of all. Because if you don't follow the tips I'm going to share, your animations will end up looking amateur. Unlike the usual method, we're not going to start our work by animating the letters. First, we'll go after the trailing lines. Why? Because these lines are going to act as the motion path and the driving force. Animating these lines helps us figure out the path and the energy of the whole project. We create the movement from here so that the rest of the elements follow this flow, instead of having each word do its own thing. For example, I'll solo one of the layers so we can understand it better. As you can see, our animation has a drawing effect, and if you pay attention to its path, we can simply draw it using the pen tool, and then with a simple animation on the Trim Paths modifier, we can easily create such a drawing effect. But there are 2 important points in this animation. The first point is adjusting the length of our line, meaning that during the animation, only a part of this line should be moving, which means its start point and end point need to move in sync with each other. To do this, if I go ahead and open up my layer, you'll notice that I've keyframed both the start and end parameters for Trim Paths, and the spacing I created between them allows us to only have a segment of this line to perform this movement for us. The next point that is super important is one of the 12 principles of animation, and that's the crucial principle of easing. If you look closely, our keyframes are eased here, but it's not quite that simple. If we go into the graph editor, we'll notice that our graph has taken on a specific shape. If you pay attention, you'll realize that the speed peak is high at the beginning of the movement, meaning the speed is fast right at the start. After that peak, the speed drops significantly, and similarly the animation speed fluctuates up and down, and ultimately finishes fast at the end. These very ups and downs in the graphs ensure that our line doesn't move and draw at a constant speed, and this easing helps it have a much more attractive and eye-catching animation. Properly setting the Trim Paths parameters, as well as mastering the easing principle, is just the beginning of your adventure in the motion graphics world. If you feel like your ideas get stuck in After Effects, or your work lacks that international appeal, and you don't know how to turn the skill into high income, I've created a shortcut for you in the Motion Hero course, where I'll teach you step by step from absolute zero, all the animation tricks, advanced rigging, working with practical expressions, and most importantly, creative thinking so you can land premium projects. The registration link with a special discount is in the description. Make sure to check it out because the capacity for this course is limited. Let's move on to the next part. So far, we've completely understood our drawing path, and now I'll return my composition to its normal state and unsolo the layer. In order for us to have other lines as well, all we have to do is duplicate the layer we made and create some key differences. For example, we can increase the stroke width, change its color, and create some spacing between the layers themselves so they play with a time delay from one another, allowing us to achieve such a creative result. We're moving on to the wave composition. Here, I want to explain a bit more about animating the letters themselves. We enter the composition, and as you can see, we've created a separate shape layer for each of these letters, and they've all been drawn using the pen tool and have their own custom shape path. Notice that for the exclamation mark, we've created 2 layers, because its animation requires the dot to be animated separately, and the line to be animated separately as well. The important thing about animating these letters is that this animation is completely dependent on the movement of the trailing lines, and the word wave grows and forms in harmony with those lines. This coordination makes the audience feel like the word wave was truly created riding on a wave, rather than us just slapping on a few simple keyframes for its animation. For instance, if you pay attention to the movement of the W, we've keyframed a few parameters on it. If I open it up, those parameters are the path parameter, the end parameter from the trim paths modifier, and also position. Here, we tried to create a bouncy movement for the letter W. To do this, we both changed the shape path of the W over time, and simultaneous with this change, our drawing happens via the end parameter from trim paths. And based on the direction it's being drawn, we also keyframe the position so it goes up and down along with it, giving our W's movement a bouncy feel. And the important point here is that to make the W's bouncy feel look much more natural, we went ahead and added a bounce expression to the position parameter. I've dropped this bounce expression for you in the comments so you can easily use it. This expression helps you make the position's bouncy feel more natural so that when our animation ends, the movement continues and comes to a gradual stop. Another noteworthy point is that we added trim paths to all of these letters, so they all share that drawing animation. Except for the exclamation point where just position is enough, and of course we use the bounce expression on different parameters to give every letter a bouncy feel. For the W, it was on position, and for the rest of the letters, like A or E, it was on rotation. And we reached the most important and exciting part of our animation, which is transforming wave into a waving hand. Here, we've placed the rest of our work in a separate composition, so I'll jump into this composition to show you what we've done. We placed the rest of the view layers in this composition, and to turn the word wave into a hand, we went ahead and used another one of the 12 principles of animation, called squash and stretch. This principle helps us add a sense of squishing and stretching to the elements of the animation whenever it needs to take on a cartoonish feel, especially when it's about to make a jump. And as you can see, we did this for all the letters using the scale parameter, specifically the scale height. They get squished at one point, and then they release and shoot upwards. During the animation, all these letters are also parented to a null object, so the overall animation stays cohesive. The biggest challenge is positioning the letters next to each other to form the shape of our hand. So it's very important that before this animation, we know what our hand looks like and have an image of it so we can do the layout correctly. Here, once we have the image of our hand, we figure out that letters like A and E will serve as the eyes for our hand, or for example, the exclamation mark is going to form our smile. A letter like W is also going to morph, and this is done using the path parameter, and as you can see, in a specific time frame, we completely change the shape of the path so it sits right in the perfect spot to act as our hand's thumb and index fingers. Another important point is the use of arc principle. The motion paths we create for our elements need to follow a curved pattern as much as possible. This ensures our animation achieves its maximum appeal, and as you can tell, we designed our paths to be curved. And there's a very subtle detail here regarding the letter V. Before that point, the letter V is just one single layer, but further ahead, to turn the V into two of the hand's fingers, we have to separate its lines from each other. To do this, I went ahead and duplicated my layer. Then, at a specific second right here, I keyframed the path parameter so that over the course of just one frame, each of these layers turns into one of the lines making up the V. If I just turn one off, you'll see that this is done easily, and because it happens in a fraction of a second, the audience won't notice the change, and during the overall animation of that V at the speed it's going, it happens seamlessly, without the viewer noticing a thing, so this trick can really help you out. Let's move to the end of our work, animating the waving hand. The important thing for starting this animation is that we went ahead and split the rest of the layers, totally clearing out their previous animations so that in its current state, it can take on newer animations with the old keyframes wiped out, since we don't need them anymore. And this helps our workflow progress in a cleaner and simpler way. As you know, animating a waving hand is very simple and is done using just rotation, but the key point here is using the principles of overlapping action and follow-through. This principle helps our fingers rotate with a slight time offset relative to the main hand. I'm using another null object here, and as you can see, if we only consider the rotation parameter here and activate the rotation parameter for the other fingers as well, the rotation ranges are identical. If I reset their offsets to normal here, you'll notice that their range of motion is completely identical. But we went in and just by creating a short delay between the fingers and the main movement, created a much more appealing rotation that causes our fingers to drag a bit behind during the turn, making our animation look way more professional. Of course, it's worth mentioning that the thumb and index finger, which used to be the letter W, can't be modified with rotation, so we animated it by moving its path. And as you can see, this became our final result, transforming the word wave into a waving hand animation. Now, pay close attention to the absolute final output. There are no lighting effects, particles, or unnecessary clutter in the scene. All the focus is on animating wave and its connection to transforming into a hand that's waving. A professional motion designer isn't someone who clutters up an animation, but someone who knows exactly why they're moving every single keyframe. Make sure to practice this project so you get the hang of it. I showed you the workflow in this video, but if you want a step-by-step, hands-on guide on how to create a logo motion, click right now on the video that just popped up on your screen so you can fully master the ins and outs of it in After Effects. Until the next video, see ya.